Cancel.
Schweezy.
Why do so many people worship the boot that is law enforcement? We've seen time and again, it's just more than just a few bad apples. Why do you support law enforcement? Okay. So I generally have to think, like, yeah, I've lived in places that would generally do that. So I want to go in before we go into any race type of situation when we talk about this. Why people do generally think law enforcement, because, so I would say, I want to talk about my situation because I've lived in middle of nowhere Midwest a majority of my life. I was in college when Ferguson, Missouri happened, and that all stuff happened and stuff like that. And so, and generally before that, it's like, the cops, they're just doing their job and stuff like that. That's anytime you heard that before. It's that I didn't, there were basically the towns I lived in, like, there were black people, but they were not like the type of black people police are looking for, And then, I lived in neighborhoods where black people lived, and you figure it out, stuff like that. And so after that, don't stop, don't shoot, or whatever. And what was the fucking phrase with Ferguson, Missouri? And it was like, and you just start doing more research, and then more. And, after Ferguson, like, you just had more people filming, more stuff, shit just happened. You just watch cops just fucking shoot people. And then you fucking get to recently, you're just fucking, like, watching cops fucking choking out guys to death, which is, like, shooting someone's, like, can sometimes be instant, sometimes not. But, like, this dude was, like, legit choking a guy, like, watching him die, watching the breath and the life go out of this man's eyes. Like, I would say uncomfortable, but it's worse than uncomfortable. That's what I would say, and stuff like that. And so, why people, first of all, let's just talk about, like, I don't know, I want to say, I think cops are people who got C's and D's in high school and are now dead. And you're like, when you say, like, and I like to say all cops are bad cops, and you're like, you can't just fucking say that. I'm like, well, look at police unions. Police has a union, and every cop will support a bad cop and stuff like that. And I've heard a million stories about this, about how someone was like, hey, I want to report this cop. They were doing something bad. I want to report that, and I want to do this shit. And then somehow the guy reported that got fired, but not, like, the cop who's doing the shit, and the cop could continue doing shit. And you hear about, like, the cops who let a little boy, like a 14-year-old boy, go back to Jeffrey Dahmer because he lived in a black neighborhood and Jeffrey was white and shit like that. The cops were like, once they figured out Jeffrey Dahmer was a fucking monster, they were like, look, I don't see how you guys can fucking still have a job. And the police union got involved, and it's like, oh, they're still back. The police union is the one union I don't support. Every other union I will support, but not the police union. Anyways, though, why do and so it's like, if a good cop, there would be good. Okay, so no, hold on, I need to figure out what I'm fucking saying before I go into this. There's no good cops, only bad cops, and it's like, because if there was good cops, there wouldn't be bad cops, and you can see just how the internals of how police departments work, and it's just fucking bad. It's just that fucking shit. But why people worship law enforcement? It's because they see them as the goddamn fucking Avengers. Cops, they're seen as just fucking like, oh, cops are just selfless people who are just wanting to protect human beings. They're superheroes, and people think they're superheroes. No, there are people you went to fucking high school with anger management issues who got C's and D's in high school, barely passed. They went to 6 months of training, which they probably let everyone fucking pass. And it's weird how they let fucking cops be able to enforce laws when people who defend laws, like lawyers, they have to go to school for like close to a decade just to be able to defend someone who did probably nothing wrong, and it's just the skin color of someone they don't like. It's just fucking insane. Why people, the simple answer to your question, why do so many people worship law enforcement, is because they think they're the fucking Avengers, and a lot of times, like, they're scared of black people, and so law enforcement are the ones that get rid of black people. That's 100%. Anyways, though. Hey there, you just checked out a highlight from Cancel Schweezy. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you learned something and that you are now a smarter individual. Just so you know, we have full episodes and other many highlights available now. Click here for the next best thing that you can go check out as well. And make sure you press that subscribe button and press that notification bell. That way you get updated anytime we make a new post or anytime that we make a new highlight or full episode. So thank you, honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.